Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am back from vacation. So today's live stream is actually live. It's not Memorex. So I'm happy to be back and anxious to get today started because we are going to be talking about in the theme of June, which was sort of reviewing what you have been doing up until June. This is sort of like a mid-year review so that you can sort of assess how things are going. And today's topic is content strategy reboot. And I'm going to talk in general about what that means, at least how I interpret doing that and using the month of June or the middle of the year. And then one specific example of how I'm going to reboot some content. So if you have any questions, as per usual, please post them in the comments below. I hope to be able to see your comments or questions live. I do have my window open in StreamYard. I'm only going live on LinkedIn and YouTube since Facebook's been acting kind of wacky. But if you are watching this on the replay, please feel free to comment below anyway, because I will be getting back to you in response to any questions that you may have. So I welcome you for being here, and let's get to it. So content strategy reboot. So what do I mean when I say content strategy reboot? It's the middle of the year, and it's an opportunity for you to look at what has been working and not working for your content strategy. And that could be pertaining specifically to video and YouTube, or it could be overall in your social media, as well as in your website and text content and things of that nature. So it's an opportunity for you to reassess what your goals are, what content you have. Do you need to refresh anything? And then hopefully that will allow you to reignite the interest of your ideal audience. So what I chose to do is sort of quickly review what I had been doing, not necessarily just in the past 6 months, but also in general. I took a look at what was not only going on my YouTube channel, how people were responding to my social media posts, and in particular, what people were asking me offline on my through my email or in one-on-one conversations that we were having. And so it led me to do something that I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit later. So the reasons why you would want to do some sort of a content strategy reboot is because things may have changed. Your audience could have changed. Their interests could have changed. Maybe your competitors are doing something a little bit differently, and you want to get in on a particular trend. Maybe you've noticed that your content isn't tracking as well as it was previously. So you definitely need, or there are reasons why you should want to be able to sort of reboot your content. And like I said, it could be that your audience is maybe not engaging in your content is outdated, or your what you are doing maybe seems a little scattered and maybe not as focused as you would like it to be. So the benefits to rebooting is definitely the ability to reconnect with your audience. You can boost engagement by doing this, as well as you can stay relevant. And staying relevant is really important because you could be interested in doing one particular type of niche or content, and right now the relevant type of content might be contrary to what you're doing. So you want to make sure that you're always on theme. You want to, whatever is happening in your niche, you want to make sure that you're creating content based on that, based on whatever the various different types of topics that your niche is focused on. You want to definitely adjust accordingly to whatever's happening in your particular industry. So here are some of the ways or things that I looked at in order to decide what I'm going to chat with you about. How many minutes am I in? Almost 5 minutes. So one, I wanted to reevaluate what my goals were. So I wanted to make sure that I understood what my content was to achieve for me. Then the next was making sure that I was focused on my specific audience and I understood exactly what my specific audience wanted. The next was then basically being able to audit what my existing content was that I was already putting out there. Was there something that maybe I needed to go a little bit deeper on, or that I wanted to focus a little bit more on? And then another, which I kind of did last year, was I wanted to experiment with different formats. And that's why I'm now doing live streams. And that's probably going to change again, because I think what I'm going to probably focus a little bit more on is not necessarily coming in live for the universe on a weekly basis, but I may reduce that down to maybe once a month. And then what I want to focus on a little bit more is doing live streams within a smaller community. A lot of people are focused on their private communities, not necessarily doing things for the masses, whether that be on Facebook or somewhere else. And then also making sure that you are tracking and analyzing the results. So are you looking at the videos that you are putting out there and seeing what is the engagement, what are the views and things of that, click-through rates and all of those types of things. So here's the decision that I made. I did a video back in December. I don't remember the exact name of it, but it was on Fathom .video, which is an AI note taker. It was a video that did fairly decent in terms of views. And what has happened in the time since December and now is that I've gotten a lot of people asking me about it. So because that was the only video, and I typically, when I used to do a lot more pre-recorded custom videos for YouTube, I would, especially if it was a tool that I loved, I would go deep dive into it. And this was a tool that I actually only did one video. And I did that one video when it switched from just being a free platform to having a premium version of it as well. And I kind of was announcing that and talking about, oh my gosh, this seems so interesting. And these are all the things that I want to do with it, type of thing. And so with that said, let me share with you what that is. Again, it's Fathom.video, and it's an AI note taker that I use every single day that I have any kind of a video call. And I have 99.999% of my communication with my audience, with my clients, with my prospects are done using video. And they can be asynchronous, in which case I use Loom, and I'll share that in another video. But if it's live, if I'm actually having a meeting, I personally prefer to communicate via video for a number of reasons. One, I think we understand each other a lot better when we are discussing things by video. Two, you have a greater opportunity of really seeing if what you're saying is resonating with the person. You can see their body language and their facial movements. And there is a book that I absolutely love called Read the Zoom by Melinda Marcus that I highly recommend that you all get. I'm not an affiliate. I believe it is on Amazon. But it is a book that really allows you to understand the dynamics of how somebody communicates non-verbally. And I think that that just goes a longer way in terms of being able to communicate much more effectively. The other reason why I like to use Fathom is because it allows me to clearly understand what the point of a call was and what the next steps are. And I'm always able to go back and find little nuanced bits of information that will help me understand the needs of that person that I was having a call with, whether that was a networking call, whether it was a prospecting call, regardless of what kind of call it was. So with that said, oh, I thought I had this on autoplay. Bummer. I thought I had this on autoplay. So let's just do that until I'm finished. So for the most part, this tool has become a lifesaver, absolute lifesaver for me. It is something that you can use in the act of actually recording your content. Then it summarizes your content for you. And then you're able to integrate that if you want with tools like HubSpot or Salesforce. And then there's some other ones that you can use it with. It also allows you to send and share your information with the person that's on the call. It also allows you to create through AI an email that you can send in addition to the link with your recording. So it really makes you come off looking super, super professional after you've had a meeting, regardless of what type of meeting it was that you've had. And so with that, I wanted to basically just share with you how I use some of these summaries. I have to say there are 14 of them. If you are currently using the free version, I believe you only have the general summary, which in and of itself is good. It's essentially a synopsis broken down in chapters of what that conversation was about. So that is really, really good in and of itself. But in addition to that, you have 13 other types of summaries that you can use within Fathom based on the type of call that you have. There are probably about 7 different types of calls that I typically have. And so I have tried to experiment with almost all of them. I probably have tried them all, but there are about 6 or 7 that are my go-tos that I use for different types of calls. And I want to share a video right now with you so that you can see what some of those ways that I use them and summaries that I use them. So this video is going to start now. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments below. If you are brand new to Fathom Video AI Note Taker, the calls dashboard looks like this. It's going to be broken down by week or by month in terms of all of the calls that you've had. I am in the process of actually upgrading to the Teams version so that I will be able to create folders so that I have all of the calls that I have on a regular basis, like with my business coach and mentor. They can all be in one folder. If I'm doing any meetings with brands that are demonstrating their tools to me, I can have all of those in another folder, etc. But this is how mine is organized by month. Some months are busier than others in terms of the number of video calls I would have. So what I want to do right now is walk you through some of the different types of calls that I will, or should I say summaries, that I would use for my calls. So I'm going to start over here. This was actually a call with an outsourcer that I was interviewing to outsource my video editing services to. So in an instance like this, more often than not, I'm going to go with the chronological, which this is a summary that's available for both the free and the paid version. And it basically just does a simple chronology of what I discussed during however long that call was, and it will break it up into quote unquote chapters for me. So that's if you just want to have a generic overview. I am going to try to make this a little smaller, not that small, so that you can see all of the different summaries. So they have a lot. They have a total of 14 different summaries. I'm going to admit I have not used all of them. Some of them I don't really know how to use them because they're a little outside of my scope of understanding, but you do have access to them anyway. So the next one that I wanted to show you was, it's a typical call that I will have, which is usually a free consultation. I offer a 20-minute free consultation to my clients or to my prospects, I should say. And in that instance, I will use a variety of different summaries, but I do like to use this Q&A one, which basically recaps any questions and answers that were held during your call. And then you can sort of, again, let me go a little bit smaller on this so that you can get a better look. So you can see all of the different questions that they asked or that I asked, and then any additional discussion points. What I like about this is that it will give me good information in terms of what questions are my prospects asking, and is there something that I can do from a marketing standpoint that can help address some of those quote unquote pain points or questions that they asked. That's number one. If I'm doing a consultation and I'm just trying to understand, like, why are you doing this consultation? What's your current situation? Are you using video? Are you using YouTube? What has been your experience using it? Those types of questions, I can get that all succinct in one area. But if I wanted, I could also just do a general, which I'm going to show you again in a minute, which basically just gives you a rundown of the key takeaways, the topics that were discussed, and then the next steps. So I do like general is my go-to in terms of summaries because it really encapsulates everything that I really need to know. So in this instance, this was for an interview that I was doing when I was hiring and looking for a virtual assistant. So this summary is called Candidate Interview. And the candidate interview just allows you to delve into the candidate's experiences, the goals and responses that they will offer. So it gives you a summary, background, relevant accomplishments, experience, availability, compensation, things of that nature, and then some questions that were asked. So this is a good summary to have so that you can evaluate your interviewers or interviewees, I guess is the right one. This is an example of a quick meeting that I had with my VA once I actually hired them. And this is called stand-up. I didn't know what this one meant for the longest time, but stand-up meetings are essentially, they're short, they're fast-paced, they're usually internal meetings. They're not going to be meetings that you have with your clients. They're going to be meetings that you're having with your team members where updates can be shared. And in theory, the reason why it's called stand-up meeting is because you're standing typically. So I guess if you're in a brick and mortar office, you would be having just a quick standing meeting in a room or in a hallway, and you're just, dishing out various updates on whatever the status is on things. So you can have one of those virtually since we are living in a virtual world. So this was a short meeting that I had with my VA, and we talked about impediments, current tasks, project updates, and things of that nature from both perspectives. So those are good to have as well. Here is a project kickoff. So whenever I do start to work with a client, the first meeting that I'm going to have with them is a project kickoff meeting where we're going to discuss the overview, the goals of the projects, and all of the deliverables, next steps, timelines, things of that nature. So this really works well again for that particular type of example. Then, if you are already within the project and you want to have a little bit more of a robust conversation, this can be done with the project update summary. So in this particular instance, it isn't a work project. It's actually more of a marketing project. I'm teaming up with a brand in order to do a workshop / webinar coming up. And so we had a meeting and we just discussed all of the points that we needed to with regards to that particular quote unquote project. And I have all of this information listed so that I have, again, everything succinct. And before I go on, I just want to explain again my reason and rationale for using Fathom and for using AI note takers. And the primary reason is it allows me to stay present in my conversations with my prospects. There are ways when you're recording that you can highlight or make notes to certain things that are being said at the time. Sometimes I'm still old school and I'll make the note in my notepad, but you can always add those to your recording afterwards. And it just allows me to remember and have a clear understanding of what I said, what they said, and what the expectations are. And the great thing too, and I'll share this with you a little bit later, is that you can automatically send the recording to them as well so that they can have a copy of it. So this is an example of a discovery call. So this is when a client has expressed that they want to work with me and they've set up a discovery call. These calls are usually typically longer. They're 45 minutes to an hour long. And in this particular instance, I've actually am showing you the Q&A. So these are all of the questions that were asked that I felt were of importance, but this isn't the only type of recap I can do. I can also do a sales recap because typically that is what the end result of my discovery calls are going to be, is that they are going to want to work with me in some capacity. So it'll have information like the context, the prospect, the current status, the specific requirements, budgets in here. If they have a tech stack, what is that, the timeline, and things of that nature. So these are very detailed and interesting and helpful information so that from here I can then create an idea of what I need to propose to them, or they may have actually specified that they want to work with me using a particular service that I already offer. This is retrospective is something that I use when I am doing my quarterly strategy calls with my clients. So if you've signed up for one of my services where you get a quarterly call and we will work over your strategy, we'll review the previous 3 months, my retrospective will go through all of that. What strategies were discussed, basically what did we do well, what can we do better, if there is anything, what will we stop doing, if there was anything that was mentioned, what will we start to do, and then next steps, and then any other conversation points that may have been discussed. And again, this is shared with that person. The next one is called customer success. Customer success will outline the experiences that the client had, any challenges, goals, and then obviously any Q&As that were discussed. This is ideal for coaching calls. So I use this for my coaching calls that I will use for small groups or just one person that I am working with. So we will discuss any challenges, goals, next steps, and then the Q&As that were mentioned within that goal or within that call. The other type of call that I will have is with brands where they will reach out to me and they will say, oh, I want you to do a video on a particular tool, or I want your opinion on this tool that we're working on. I get calls like that or requests like that on a regular basis. So what I'll do is when we do have our meeting, it will obviously be recorded using Fathom, and I will then use the demo summary. And so the demo just basically showcases the journey, if you will, of whatever it is that they're doing. So it really allows you to get an overview. They will mention whatever the benefits of the tool is, the process, any blockers or concerns, and then any Q&As that may come up. You don't have to use this one only. You can use any number of these, but that's what I personally prefer to use is demos. I also use demo if I am walking someone through. So let's say I have a one-on-one with someone and I am showing them how to use a particular tool, or even how to maneuver and work through or guide them through the platform that I use for my digital course and group coaching calls. If I'm doing something like that and it's recorded, I obviously will showcase that. Or if I'm going through something with my VA where it's through the onboarding process and I'm doing it on a live call with them, I will use the demo summary for that as well. This is a call. General is sort of what defaults on the paid version. So once you have recorded your video or your call, immediately the first summary that is available for you is the general one, which I think I've already mentioned is a really good catch all, if you will, summary, because it gives you the meeting purpose, any key takeaways, any topics that were covered, and then whatever the next steps happen to be. So I like to use this for any sort of general call. It could be with my VA. It could be with, in some instances, a client. It could be with my personal mentor or coach or anyone that I'm helpful to or learning from is what I will typically use the general for. And the last one that I will show you as a general as well is in an instance, in this particular instance, it was a call with a meeting planner for a company that I'm going to be doing meetings for, SCORE. And so I just wanted to have a general sort of summary on what all was discussed, because it wasn't just for one event, it was for ongoing events. And so it just, again, succinctly captures everything that was discussed that was important for me. Now, like I mentioned, you can share this, you can have it shared automatically with your audience, or with, I keep saying audience, with the person that you were meeting with, so that they can have their own copy of it, or you can then follow up with some sort of an email. You can set up that this is automated, or you can just say naturally that you'll manually share it. You don't have to do that. With the paid version, some of the things that you get is you get action items. So the AI within Fathom will determine whether or not there were any action items that were mentioned, and then they will list it here for you. And then you can literally just go through them and check them off if they were done. And then it will have, if the person in the call said that they were going to do it, then it'll say who it's assigned to. If no one sort of had ownership on it, then you can assign whoever it is that you want to assign to it. And then you can obviously delete it all if that is something that you want to do. What I do like is that you do have the ability to copy. Now, I have to speak to Fathom, because typically when you click on one of these, it doesn't send it directly to that platform. So I could click on Asana, it's going to copy it. I guess if I have Asana and I come over to Asana, just make believe this is Asana, and then I copy it here. I don't know if that's how it would typically look in Asana. I use Trello and they don't have Trello here, so I can't, oops, I meant to do this one. So I'm going to just save it for Google Docs, and I'm going to assume it's going to look the same darn way. And it does. So you can do that so that you can copy and paste your action items, if you will. Or you can say that you want to do a copy for a follow-up email. So what it's going to do is it's going to scrub or go through that call, and then it's going to generate an email that you obviously can edit. And then you can use that and copy and paste it into, Gmail or wherever it is that you typically use. So, oh, I don't know why this comes out. Sometimes this happens where it comes out, oops, it comes out linked. So anyway, so it's saying here, now the reason why it's saying hi Edie is because this call actually was set up by the person that I was talking to. And so they're assuming that's who's asking for it. So as you may know already, Fathom can be added to calls that you do not initiate. So if you are meeting with someone, they've sent you their Zoom link or their meeting link, Google Meet link, or their Microsoft Teams link, you can insert Fathom into that so that it can be your own personal note taker and you don't need to wait and rely on them. But anyway, so this basically just has a very short and to the point email. And then all I would do if I needed to use this is I would just switch it around. But let me just make sure that it reads. Okay. To coming. And so I would just edit this so that it comes over as me. So basically, that's what I would do. But let me see. This isn't really one that I would do. And you can't do follow-ups on everything. So like this one's a customer success and it doesn't allow for a follow-up. But if I were to use, let's see, one-on-one doesn't do that either. But obviously general would. Yeah, I think I just saw it there. I hope I didn't, it was lower. Let me make sure. What did I have? Customer success. Oh, let's see. I was looking in the wrong area. Okay, so it does. So let's try this one. Okie dokie. So let's delete that and paste. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, so this is done correctly. And then you can get to the link with the meeting from going there. So I love this. It just really saves a tremendous amount of time. Now, what I did not go over is that they do have a bajillion others. I told you there's a total of 14 summaries. And the ones that I don't really use are like these two sales. I mean, you can use them. I just didn't know what they were. They're, I think, more high tech than what I do. So this med pick is for, if I remember correctly, it's an acronym for a methodology of sales that stands for metrics, economic buyer, decision criteria, decision process, identify pain, champion, and competition. And I don't know what questions you necessarily need to ask for that, but that's one. And then this spiced is a methodology by winning by design. And SPICE is a framework that helps you diagnose your prospects. So you can identify it by the situation or the facts, circumstances, and background of your prospects, the pains or challenges that they have, their impact, the impact that your that you can have on your prospect's business, critical event, which is a deadline that the prospect has, and then decision, the process that they have to go through before purchasing a solution. And then demo I showed you, customer success I showed you, one-on-one is really just for any updates, priorities, things of that nature. Project update I showed you, project kickoff, candidate interview I showed you, retrospective. Did I show you retrospective? Yeah, retrospective is what we did well. I did show you that one already. And then the last is stand up, and I know I showed you that one. So I say definitely sign up for Fathom. They currently have 3 months available of premium for free. Use my link in the description below and in the first pinned comment and try it out. And just, I think more and more people are using it. So I really recommend that you use it yourself. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know. I do want to share also that one thing in particular is that they do constantly update their platform, and they are going to be updating it again, where they're going to allow you to edit the templates for the various summaries that they have available, so that you can insert your own specific things that you want to be able to receive from it. So I think that that's pretty impressive. And then the other thing that I wanted to share with you is that I believe Dan was on the call. I don't know if you're still on here live, asking a question in reference to my live streaming schedule. And earlier, I kind of, I think, alluded to this. One of the things that I've been doing this year, I've been doing this since January, is I come live every single Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm here roughly for about 20 to 30, sometimes as many as 40 minutes. And it's always on a themed topic that I have outlined for the month. I do make that announcement to my email list. And at one point, I was sort of winging it, usually just here live at 2 p.m. I am probably in the next half of the year. I don't know exactly when I'm going to start this. I'm going to reduce this to probably once a month. And then I mentioned earlier, in reference to rebooting my content strategy, that I am contemplating putting some of my live streams behind, or not behind, but actually having it more for a private community as opposed to having it for everyone, because that way it can be more targeted to what my specific clients or audience wants, and I can come in for as little or as long as I would need to. And I just am going to be dabbling with that. So again, it's just a part of my content strategy that I'm trying to sort of figure out for myself what makes sense in terms of my schedule and in terms of the content that I want to share with my audience, as well as what their specific needs are. But for the most part, I'm here live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, and it could be for as little as 10 minutes. It could be for as long as 40 minutes. Anyway, so if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the comments. I look forward to hearing from you. And again, I would recommend trying out Fathom for free. They're premium. It is a free platform if you're only using the chronological summaries. But if you want to try out any of the summaries that I shared with you earlier, you would want to try them for free for 3 whole months. You'll be able to do it. Just use that link that is on the banner. And then I will also, in fact, let me put it in the comments now. Hopefully this will work by me putting it in the comments now. Okay, I just put it in the comments. So hopefully you'll be able to work that out. All right, so take care, and I hope to hear from you soon. Bye.